Greetings all, Flying Doctor here, hope you're doing okay. Welcome. We are going to look at the GTN750 add-on by PMS50. Now we at the moment are at Geneva Airport and I've arranged just some nice views for the moment, but crucially the views are there to get us as close as we can to the GTN750 unit. So whilst we're at it, let's just have a look. There's our kind of landing view. We've got a view that will get to all screens, all of the major upper screens. We've got a nice pilot left view there, and this view I particularly like because it allows me space to include the autopilot and manual controls here and to see what's happening on the screen here. As you can see, we're in hover mode. We're not going to go anywhere, and there's a quick view. These screens here are the GTN 750 screens, and we're going to be looking in much more detail here, so I'm going to go right up close and show you what is available. Once again, I don't pretend to be an expert by any means in these areas. I'm just learning as I go along. There's elements that I haven't worked out how things operate or how to bring more kind of capability to the units, but it is at least start. So there we go. And first things first, I think, is that we'll hop across and we'll just have a look and remind ourselves about what the sim actually looks like if you don't have the GTN 750s installed. So here we go. There's our manual. That's one of the good places to go, isn't it? There's our manual. And as you can see, if we look kind of closer in there, you can see that if you start and you haven't included the GTN 750 add-on, you get a simple not installed and a redirect to PMS50, who produced the GTN 750 add-on. And just as a reminder, if you're really new to sort of flight simulation, particularly Microsoft Flight Simulator, although it's been there for some times in the world of Explain 11, is that the simulator is enhanced through add-ons. From groups like flightsim.to, for example. They usually come as zipped files, and you right click and unzip them, and then you place those files in what's known as the community folder, or there are some other third-party applications that will manage that for you. But the process is relatively simple. I don't have time to go through that right now, but if anyone wants it, I'm able to do another video just walking people through. So yes, this is what you get if you log in. You'll find that you're directed here to go to locate the add-on file, which comes a zip on it, and then you download it. Okay, and then there is no need to actually use the paid for product, but I would encourage you to do so if you're able to afford it. So in terms of the products that are available, and just to further outline what the GTN 750 will give you, it's worth just looking at the PMS50 page here, and you land on really good indicator. This is the kind of functionality that you get, increased functionality. Now the great thing about the GTN 750 is that it fully integrates with Microsoft Flight Simulator, or a good number of the aircraft. Now it's integrating here with the H145. Obviously it will insert itself into, for example, any aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator that has a G1000. You can have a look at the compatible aircraft as well. So this won't, if you get this, even the free version, it will insert itself automatically within some aircraft. With other aircraft you get an additional package which will give increased functionality as well, and you can see these aircraft here where you have the G1000 replacement. So yeah, it's a really great add-on, and it provides you with a number of really useful features. So we can just take a look at those now. If we just have a look at I think if we scrolled down here, did we get to the features? Yes, we did. So you can insert, in using the GTN 650 on the units that are here, you are able to increase and have a range of additional features that you can reach just using these screens. In fact, it's possible to just fly in the sim using a combination of these GTN units plus the tablet. So we'll just have a quick look here, and I'll illustrate some of the things that are available, and I'll tell you on the way whether they're available in the premium or in the free version. We'll start with the free version. So we'll just drop down right down now. And what you've got is two units. So usually Pilot and Copilot can operate these separately, but in fact once you operate with one unit, it's automatically updating the other unit. So you can have one, you're updating a flight plan, and you have another, you can look at the charts, and it'll be updating the flight plan whilst the person's seeing the charts on this. So it's got a lot of functionality. In fact, you can be programming on one and getting further information on the other. So let's just work out what we're able to do. The first thing is that, as you will be familiar, you've got two crucial frequencies that you are asking the aircraft to listen in on. One is the communications frequency, which is here, and obviously this is sort of saying Zurich Tower 118.1, and then there's a standby frequency underneath 124.850. Now if you click on the lower blank level, you'll find that you can adjust this standby frequency, and let's just put in 111 and well, let me do 111 because of the standard com frequencies, but let's say 119 900. There you go. And if I press enter on that, you'll see the standby frequency is updated. But if I click on the top here, com1 will switch to 119.9, and I can click back again. So that's the communication sort of frequencies. And then you have the navigation frequencies. Now you can navigate to a range of objects, for want of a better description. Most frequently you will use this for navigating to an ILS frequency onto land and aircraft. So I'm using Navimap here, and which is really another excellent tool. And sorry, Little Navmap, not Navimap, Little Navmap, but you've got it just for you here. Now you can see that you've got these green kind of arrows going into the airport. These are, if you're not sort of initiated in, these are flight corridors into land on the runways, and they operate much like a kind of cone. If you can imagine a cone that's sort of reaching out and extending up into the air, and there's a sort of a corridor, and when the aircraft is in that kind of cone of influence or whatever, it will get a signal as to both its location and the height that it needs to be above the runway, and that's an instrument landing system. Now these instrument landing systems are ILSs. They come here, and you can see as I zoom in here, I've got a number 110.75. Okay, and that's the frequency that I want to be looking at. I've got the bearing 332 degrees, and the glide slope, what that is, 3.3 degrees, which is really crucial information. So if, and again, I've managed to set Little Navmap up so it's resetting itself all the time. What am I like? There you go. So let's just pick here sort of, we're actually, you can see where we are on the map here. If I zoom right in, you can see this tiny little aircraft, there we go. We're that tiny little yellow thing. Okay, so not the largest aircraft in the world on the map, but let's say that I wanted to return, do a little bit of a loop and return on this runway here. So I wanted to come round, and I wanted to come in and hit that corridor there. Well, that's pretty straightforward. I would need to enter into the ILS frequency of 109.75. So that's simple in much the same way. You go to nav standby, nav1 standby, go to 109.75, just type that in, bang, there you go. And if I put that up there, it's ready to go. And you can see it's identified that as an ILS frequency already. And I'll just sort of demonstrate that for you. It'd be helpful if I move back to the sim. So there we go. We were at, we'll switch the two around. We were at 110.5. If I clicked on standby, I can change, and I've just changed it to 109.75. I'll do it again for you, 109.75. There you go. Press enter. And then there you go. It's as I switch, you can see it'll register, there you go, as an ILS frequency. And there are other beacons that you can use as well as you're travelling through Navimap. The purple figures are waymarkers. They don't have a radio frequency, they have a GPS frequency, but you can occasionally find VORs which sit out, and VORs you can link in, and you can navigate to and past them. You can also take radials off them, but that's slightly beyond our remit here. So there we go. So let's just move in, and we'll have a look, shall we, at what else is available. We've got an audio panel. Now it's possible, although the audio's out here, to link in, because when you might want to link in to what COM1 is saying and have it playing through your speaker. So if you click on the audio panel, you get more detail on exactly what is available and what you can listen to. Okay, so mic is to speak out on, and the monitored radios are what is coming in. So if you're using a Nav1 frequency, for example, and you listen to that, these things have like a kind of, they have a code, a pip code that varies, almost like a Morse identifier, and that helps to see that you're connecting with the waymarker itself. So if it's an OBS beacon, you can tell exactly what OBS beacon it is because of the signal that it's given out, and the same is true of the ILS as well. Okay. So let's have a look. The transponder, obviously the Squalk code is there, and you just pop that in. That's set for you automatically by Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's also, you can see I'm navigating around, very simple navigating around. There's a map here, which is excellent, and there's some variety in the map. This is available in all, so far is available in the free version of the software. I just kind of think, why would you not want to install this, because you don't want blank screens, but still good to have a little bit of a talk around. So the map's got some options on it as to what is displayed. It can work independently. There you are, there's an ILS1 frequency and ILS2, and there's no FMS programs at the moment because we've got no flight plan in. So yeah, I like this. Not only can I see where the aircraft is, I can see the waymarkers as well here labelled for us, and I can zoom out, there we go, out, and just see what's going on, and I can zoom in, and as you can see I can even see other airports that are around, and I can see way spaces. If I click on menu, lots of options come up. One of them that's particularly interesting and helpful is terrain, but and also have traffic. You can have airspaces, airports, NextRad, intersections, VORs, the whole lot, and you can even have constraints. So there's the whole caboodle there, and red is like bad news. Put yourself at Zurich just to demonstrate that even though we're a few feet up in the air, there's been lots of red. Okay, so yeah, menu, plenty of menu. We can restore it back to defaults, and we can change north up, and not even sure what highlight does. Let's have a look, and I'm really not sure what highlight does, but we can click on the map here, and just going to simplify it for us. We'll take the traffic up, we'll have the topography, we'll take the airspaces off the airports, and there we are. But there we go, so things are a little bit simpler for us. You can see 5 nautical miles there, and it's quite possible, I'm pretty sure, to pick and get waypoint interview. So I've just clicked on there, D2213E. If I click on that, I will get information on the waymarker itself. So nearest VOR is the UE, 5 miles at 32 degrees. So lots of information there. Traffic. Now I've yet to see the traffic appearing, but once the game's, it could well be because I've got an additional add-on that's providing additional aircraft at airports, and for that I turn the traffic down. I need to check the settings on that, but there is, and don't forget this is a work in progress. The PMS50 that are still working on this, but actually, you know, it is possible to get a reading on the traffic that is around. Let's just have a look. Terrain is straightforward, and you can see where the reds would be. So the red is, you know, really don't want to be, it would be higher than producing red. Red, yellow, and green, and black are above that. And so yes, terrain, always really helpful. Weather, now it is possible to use the weather and to scan the weather, but again I've got to do a little bit of working on this. You can change the scan, and I suspect I've got to do a little bit of work on this as well, but I think the weather's looking quite clear at the moment. I wonder what would happen if we suddenly get thunderstorms. Oh, we could try. Shall we try? Shall we see? No, don't put yourself in a thunderstorm, Langley, because you've got the aircraft nice and stable, so we'll stick with that, shall we? Charts is an interesting one. Now, this feature is only available if you deal with a paid-for version. I think it's €25, which is just around about, I think it's 20 quid or slightly more than that. Depends what the exchange rate is at the moment in UK pounds, but I'm quite okay with thinking about euros. But if I click on charts, what you can actually do is that you can use Navimap you can use Navigraph, not Navimap, so you can use the Navigraph service, and what that will do is it will provide you with airport charts. I'm just going to go back and just show you. So if I go back to the map, I can remember where we are, because I can't actually remember where we are, what the code is for Zurich, and it looks like LSZH. Can you see there? So if I type in LSZH into the charts, okay, LSZH, Zurich, if I enter there, I'm going to get the Zurich airport information up. Now, the charts are available. If I click on this for information, I can get all kinds of airport briefings here, and they will come to me. Now these, look at that, you see. So you've got this information here, and that is coming from Navigraph that I pay a subscription for. And when you work through the system, when you set it up, you're able to plug that detail in. Yes, you can get it on the tablet as well. But I'm finding that actually there's much more intuitive link to the documents that are available on Navigraph using these buttons. So for example, approaches, I can press approach to select approach. If you remember last time, I was thinking, well, what approach is it going to be? I seem to remember it's something like ILS 28, so if I click on that, and you can see that this image comes up in much the way that it should usually do in Navigraph. It will show me where the aircraft is. Okay, the aircraft is rather oversized at the moment. I will give you that. I'm not quite sure how you change that, but if I increase the size of this, I can drag around here. I can also click this button to give me full, and I can drag around, and as you can see, it'll give me all the details that I need to know. For example, it's told me that the localizer, quite rightly, is 109.75. Tells me the final approach course, tells me, and if I look down to the bottom, I can see here that the descent starts at 5,000 feet, and I've got my measurements in here. So 2 miles, 1.1 mile, 3.2 mile, and 3.8, indicating the distances I've got and the rough height I need to be in this sort of cone that will allow me to get the signal and connect with the localizer that will allow me tell the aircraft where it needs to position itself in terms of its vertical descent. So yes, very useful there. Split it. Back to there again. Departures, it will still work. It's got information there. We talked about departures, really helpful. I have to put in a departure, and these are, for those in the know, the standard, I think it's information departure. I think that's what it's called, standard information departure. And these are probably used in much larger aircraft, airliners, and they give an indication of how you can leave an aircraft from the runway and make your way and join another route. So they'll tell you to take X route via this particular departure route, and that will be plugged into your autopilot. So yeah, not necessarily used, I think, for smaller hops with helicopters, but still kind of good to have. And likewise with arrivals. It depends how far away you're coming from, but if you want to select arrival, you've got these routes and you can play about with them. Now these routes will also be available if you use if you're using Navimap linked into Microsoft Flight Simulator. And yeah, So really helpful there. So we might want to click that, and there we go. We've got some of our routes there, and we can just zoom in and see what it's saying for us. That's where we are. Obviously where we are is we're looking to do an arrival, so we've already arrived, but you can see some of these routes here. So for example, you can see this route that is overflying the runway here, Zurich 484, 486, 488, turn right and then turn right again, and then you're in line for the runway. Okay, so yeah, all really useful stuff, and I think this is one of the excellent features that is included, that isn't included, sorry, in the payware, in the free version. So it's payware, but really worth it. Let's stick for a moment with what is available. You can edit a flight plan, and the interesting thing about this is where coming to using two screens is particularly helpful, although it will hold the same information on one screen if you jump buttons, but nonetheless. So we go to a flight plan and unset, and let's remember the airport that we were at. So the way we did that, it was, well, can't quite remember where I am, LZ SLSZH, and enter that in, press enter there, give it a couple of seconds and it will find it. Okay, so we want a destination. So if we just want to fly about in the sim and have a little bit of fun, let's have a look at some of our nearest airports. If I click nearest, you can see I've got a range of options here: airport intersection VOR, VRP, which is greyed out, so that's not yet available, non-directional NDB, user waypoints, we'll come on to that, that's significant, and there's other things like airspace as well. But we click on airport, it will show us the nearest airports, and also we can see, well, do I fancy practicing my ILS approach, or do I want to fly VFR? And you've got all these options here, and so let's have a look. Let's find something reasonably far away that's actually got an IFR approach. Come on, there must be one. There we go. Come on. No. Well, obviously it probably needs to do a bit more for us to find more of a waypoint, but yes, yeah, so that was a little bit weird, but nonetheless, so that's one way of doing it. I could click here if I wanted to go to, let's say I wanted to go to Alton Airport, even though it's VFR, that's 28 nautical miles away. If I click on that, it will just give me more information about that airport, and again I can view the charts, and you can see there in all of the work there. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to rather bravely jump back to Navimap here and see if I can find another airport that we might want to land at that's got an ILS route on it. And so I think, just bear with me, it's going to keep wanting to center the aircraft, so we'll take that away. There we go, that might work. Just bear with me. Right, okay, just going to flick across here to the Navimap screen, and you can see here that we've got all kinds of stuff here. I can remove, using Navimap, I can remove a certain amount of the information, make it easier to read. There you go. So here we are. You can just see there's a little yellow tiny aircraft here. That's where we are. But if I zoom out, I can get a good look at other aircraft, and particularly those that have got an ILS approach, because if they've got an ILS approach, they will have this green flag either end, or one end, depending if only one avenue into the runway is working. So let's say, well, actually I do fancy an ILS journey, and I fancy this one to Friedrichshafen, EDNY. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So if I just jump back, so EDNY, let's just move back to the main sim. I happen to know that so we'll type that in straight away, EDNY, and up it will come as Friedrichshafen. There we go, and we'll find that straight away. So it's 41 mile away, and there we are. So it hasn't quite appeared on here, but again I can look up the airport anyway, because I can I could probably click on this EDNY, okay, and enter, and then on this page I've got all the aircraft, all the information I want. So what about viewing charts? Let's just select what we're after. We've got basic information on parking stands and takeoff, which is interesting, but let's have a look at the approaches. So if we select an approach, well, we think just looking at the map here, if you remember, it was an approach that was 58 degrees 58, which is not 24 is available at the moment, but not 58. So if I wanted 24 in the opposite direction, I could nonetheless click on that. There we go, and we can get the approach information there that we want. Okay, so yeah, and so you've got this mixed, really useful kind of double M. I can be looking up all kinds of things on this screen and registering on this screen. As for making a flight plan, it's really simple. You either click the start point and you can add a point to after the start point, or you can add a point before the arrival point, so to speak, and you can take any point and do that. Insert a way marker before or afterwards. I'm going to go to map here, because you'll see because I've put this journey in, it's showing us a long straight journey here right the way through to the airport, but we know that we're going to have to do a little bit more work to do this. Okay, so the first thing is let's put some more way markers. We might want to just have a look at do some sightseeing in between, but let's say that we want to just we might want to just see that, check out our autopilot is working. You never know, but I do like to vary flights to see the aircraft turning, so we get a view of what is happening. So things are pretty simple. Really, I can select a way marker. Let's have a look here. We know that this is about 5 miles. There's our scale. Let's say that I want to go to Cologne. There you go. Well, all I need to do is type in. I can type in Zurich here. I can say insert after Zurich. I can put KOLUL. It'll find that for me. Switzerland's. Whoa, hang on. Whoa. There we go. And enter that. And give it a couple of seconds, and there you go. Okay, and you can see how it's automatically updated on the screen here. Now this is interesting because that looks like a beacon. Let's have a look at the waypoint. What is it? It's a VOR DME. Okay, so we can work via that one. So we can have a look at zoo, and I've not tried this before. And let's just type in insert after. So I clicked on Kalul, insert afterwards, type in ZUE. See if that appears. Might not appear. Oh, do Switzerland. Well, we could either go to Switzerland or Libya, but click on that and then you go. It'll add that there. So you can see, and it's already making these changes. Okay, now another interesting thing that you can do, I mean, obviously you can get the kind of the things down. You can also create a waypoint in a map. So, for example, you might want to go over a particular feature. Let's say, for example, that there's a feature on the coast here that we want to look at. And I think if we double-click on the map, you can see that you get this kind of crosshairs that appears. Okay, and then I believe, sorry, I just dismissed that. I believe that if I I can add this now as a waypoint. It says map pointer, create waypoint. Okay, so click on that there, and there we are. Now we can put our own identifier in the waypoint, and we're going to call that coast 1. Say, sorry, I've just managed to call up the checklist. We can put in coast 1, COAST 1. Well, no, it won't. Just let's put in coast. Okay, so we can put it in coast. So we put a comment in there, longer one. Sightseeing. Oh, sorry, it's because I'm silly me. I'm typing it in. Sightseeing. That's how natural it is. Sightseeing 1, and we enter that, and then we create that. It's added that point, and then we can come out. And then we can add coast to our waypoint here. So we've created the waypoint, we now need to add it. So we're going to put it in. So our last waypoint was zoo, wasn't it? So after zoo, insert after, put coast in. There we go. If I press that, it's saying that's not worked. Might have to, there might be a way of inserting, but that didn't work the way I should do. I need to have a look back at that and get back to everyone on how to do that, because we're definitely not in any of those places. Okay, okay, I'm going to go back, but waypoint info, insert before, insert afterwards. No, that's not going to work. Okay, I'll get back to you on how you do that. Don't know whether you can go direct to. Can you go direct to a waypoint? I don't want to change it. You select coast. Is that in? That's definitely in. View the list. Coast sightseeing 1. Okay, so I'm wondering if there's a way of adding add-on route waypoint. Okay, is there any way I can do find waypoint? Is there anything going to come up here? No. So okay, I'll concede nearest flight pan user. Oh, we might have coast on the next one. No. So where is coast then? Okay, so I don't quite know how that's not updating on this screen. No doubt I'll find out, and I'll let you know in the comment section afterwards. But in theory, you should be able to add the waypoint identifier, which is a little bit disappointing. But you can see that there's a lot of functionality that has come in here. Wonder if I click on flight plan, what will happen here if I do it on this screen? Will this work? Should we try that? Insert afterwards. Coast. There we go. So it's worked on that screen. It didn't work on that screen. Well, you had a little bug going on there, but suffice to say we got there in the end, didn't we? So there's our flight plan, and I can jump back on that. This kind of interoperability between two screens, and there you okay. So EDNY. Well, I'm just intrigued about how we can land from there, and on to I suspect if we go because we want to check. Be interesting and helpful to look at whether we've got any procedures and how we address that. I'm still kind of working this one out. Load procedure. Wonder what procedure it would be. It'd be an arrival or it would be an approach. Let's just see. Approach. Oh, there we go. ILS 24, and there's an ILS 6. So we could go for an ILS 6. So we click in on that, and there we are. It's giving our approach, and so if we add that, how does that happen? Load approach. Let's just see what that does to our route. Does it go crazy? It does go rather crazy, and it kind of misses out a good deal of the stuff. So it's totally destroyed where we're at. So if we remove the approach. There we go, we're back to where we are now. So obviously, you know, when you actually calculate the approach or put in the approach, the computer will kind of fly over and remove elements of your existing flight plan that don't match with the approach, which is fair enough, really. And you can experiment with approaches to see what's going on. I wonder if we come from the opposite direction, what might happen. Let's have a look. Load procedure, approach. Let's click on the approach there. If we tried on ILS 24, what would that look like? Let's load that. Does it totally destroy where we're at? Yes, it does, but we can still get rid of it. So it can remove approach. Okay, but don't forget that one way round it is that we can add in waymarkers that will allow us to come round, and we can ensure that we have an approach that matches the flight path coming in, or gets us near that, and take over and then fly into the ILS. So for example, what I would do is go to EDYW, which is here on the right, after coast. So insert after EDYW, see how quick it is now. Okay, and that will update to there, and then I'll go to EDK. I can go to somewhere that will roughly get me to the kind of the avenue that I need to be in to fly, the angle that I need to be in to fly. We'll start with NY004. Okay, so we'll put that afterwards, NY004. There you go, and it's got duplicates, but that's okay. NY004 Germany. Okay, and then we're looking. We can see these these run of waymarkers here is going to indicate to me that this is the flight path. This is entering the flight path to either intersect the ILS. So if I click on that one there, I can see down here it's FHD08. So I can say, oh no, we want to go back. I can go down to the bottom here. I can insert afterwards FHD08. Okay, and that's in sort of straight away. And then I've got, if I have a look here, I more or less I can see along a flight path here, and what will happen is I can switch over to the ILS frequency of 111.90. So I've changed that, so I can go to my ILS here. I'm at the top here, and I can just go 1119, and the O will stay. Press enter, switch them by pressing the top, and there we are. So we're ready and we're set up to follow this particular course here. So yeah, really useful stuff. Okay, so, and that's not entirely dissimilar to what you would do on any Garmin unit anyway, but the fact is that it's integrated in this. You can see this pairing between the map and what is going on here. So let's just take a final quick look at what is available that we've talked about. I'll come back off the flight pan here. So we've got flight pan here, we've got procedures. It's a different way in to work about your procedures. That's straightforward. It's got nearest aircraft, waypoint info, as we talked about. Messaging, I'm sure there's some functionality that will come on this in time, but for the moment looks absolutely, looks really promising. And in-game toolbar panel. Okay, I think what that is if we just drop back, another way in which you can, just to show this, that you can use, it's night time, you can use the GTN750. So you go to the top panel here, and you can see that we've got an icon for it. If I click on that, it'll give it a couple of seconds. The GTN750 will start up in the main screen. There it is. It'll take its time to start up. I'm pretty confident. If it doesn't, I'll be quite surprised, because it's the first time it hasn't started up. I bet you it's not going to start up for me. I bet you. I've just got that feeling. Come on. Let's try you again, see what you're going to do. But usually the 750 will just start up. There we go. Initializing the system. And it will present effectively what you've got in the unit anyway, but give you a little bit more workability. You can move this clicking the lower left rectangle, and you can also resize it like that and shut it down. But if you shut it down, the units don't shut down, so that's absolutely fine. So once again, go in nice and close. So those are some of the things, apart from the charts that I showed you, and apart from the waypoint selection in the map. The free version gives you everything. So it gives you COM, audio, transponder, maps. You can see it, flight plan, editing, and leg. Procedures with preview, direct to. It gives you OBS, which is a way that any waymarker can become effectively like a beacon that you can read a signal to and from. It's got nearest airports pages, waypoint pages that you can pick up on messaging, and that in-game toolbar panel. And then we move on to other things that you come naturally to me but you wouldn't get. So a waypoint selection in the map when I'm just clicking like that. That is a premium kind of aspect of the project. Elevation data, which is also there. Distance and elevation, you can see there, that is premium too. Navigraph charts, as I mentioned before, the Navigraph charts is premium. The terrain page is premium, and the weather radar, even though I've yet to work out how to get it working, it's not really producing anything much. Let's make it a little bit more stormy. Can we give it some rain and just have a look? So precipitation, what's going to happen? We'll have a bit of rain, and I don't want too much wind. But we'll have a look. So let's just see what happens. It's on blazing sun at the moment, so I'm using a different an add-on to building storms. I wonder what happens if we do that. And but it's nothing much is appearing here. What's it look like out of the window? Sometimes it takes a little while. Just bear with me. Building storms. Does it look like it's building storms? Let's change the time of the day just to see what we've got. Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, but it's not necessarily showing up in my weather front. So I still think there's some work, or some me to do some work here. You do have to plug in some data. There's a free website that you can join that gives you weather data, but I'm not seeing much there at the moment anyway. So yeah, but the weather when it comes is a premium project. The flight plan, preview, import, and invert are all premium products. Now this, I have to say, the ability to take the Navigraph route that you have, if you pre-planned it, you save it as a Microsoft Flight Plan file. You then change the file name. I'm not quite sure what you change it to. I can't remember. It's just 3 letters that you change it to, and it might be. I'm not gonna second guess what it is. I'm just gonna have a look here and just see that if I can find it. Sorry, just move that off the screen and we'll have a look just as we talk you through, so I know what I'm looking for. MSFS2020 add-ons, packages, shortcuts in their community. Then I'm going through because I'm just trying to find the PMS50. There we go. And yeah, it's worth you showing this. It's probably worth me showing this. I don't know if it's going to appear large enough on the screens here. I'll try and do it large so I can just demonstrate. Oh, that's half decent. Okay, so you might not be able to see fully what we are looking at here, but this is my. I'll just move you across. So we're talking about the PMS50 and some of the adjustments that you can make. So this is my folder here of my add-ons that are sat in my community folder. I'll move to extra large light icons, as you can see there. Now the blue ones, I use a piece of software to label the folders. It's really useful. The blue ones are permanently stored. They are on the drive that Microsoft Flight Simulator is on. The other ones are located elsewhere, and I use something called a Microsoft Flight Simulator add-ons linker to place the shortcuts in the community file. So this is looking in the community file. Here you go, Microsoft Flight Simulator local cache packages community. Your PMS50 is here, and if I double click on that, you'll see I get a range of folders that appear, and there's 2 of interest. One is called checklist and one is called FPL flight plan. Now this is really important, that what you do is you save your plan that's come from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you save it as MSFS2020 file, okay, and then you import it into this folder here, GTN750 under FPL, and you can see that it's called fpl.pln. So you need to take whatever it was called before, delete all that away, and just call it fpl.pln. And when you load that, what you do is you then take that and then you move back into the main simulator here. I'll go back, and you go to utilities, I think, and you go to, oh no, you don't go to utilities, you just go to flight plan. I won't do it. Go to menu, and you'll get an import. You can see the import there. Now when you import it, you just say import from PC, because it only can import. You can only have one file there to import, but once it's in there it can be added, and I'm not sure how the GTN750 does it, but it keeps it there. So yeah, that's a really helpful addition. And the other one that is has taken quite some time to get used to is something called is a checklist file. And just bear with me, I'm just doing some tidy up because I've spoken some files that weren't supposed to be there. There we go, just remove those. Right, okay, so what you do, this is a much more kind of complicated, but certainly not impossible to do. What you can do is you can design your own checklist, and that is in a folder similar. It's called under that PMS50 instrument folder that we'd looked at before. Oh no, which is, you won't be able to read that, sorry about that, but there's a folder there. It's in the PMS50 instrument GTN750 folder. It's under a checklist folder, and you'll see GTN750, and you'll see that happens to be a Notepad++ file, but it's actually a JSON file. So at the end of the day, you need to convert your checklist to a JSON file. There's really good advice on Discord on how to do that, but you can generate for yourself your own checklist, which I found extremely helpful, and I'll show you that later. So let's just carry on as we work through. I hope you're finding this helpful. Just we're working through what it is that we gain from the paid for version. So I have mentioned the elevation data, the waypoint selection, the Navigraph charts, traffic page, terrain page. So that when I pointed to the terrain is in fact comes with the paid for version. Weather radar, I've got to make that work. Flight plan preview, flight plan import and invert. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what it means by preview, because you can see the flight plan if you just have the standard version. Something called flight plan catalog load and save, not quite sure about that. Airways come as well. It's possible to mark the airways if you look before on terrain, but if we go back to map, one of the issues that come from here is that one of the opportunities is air spaces, which can be made visible. Don't know where they've gone, but they can be made visible. That's right. Honest, I know what's happening really. So yes, you've got airways, textual meta, which is a textual. This is what I tried to get to work in the other day, which is the meta is a written account of the weather conditions, but I've not managed to get that. And so far, vcalc utility, which is really helpful actually. So if I click on utilities here, you can find there's a vnav calculator, and that's in there, so that will tell me I can pop in where I want to be, what the altitude type is, and what kind of vertical speed I want to get, and these and where I'm wanting to arrive at, and that will give me a feet per minute kind of readout as well. So yes, vcalc, well worth, I'm sure what to put. User waypoints we showed you, you can only get those if you use the premium version. And even though there's some things missing, another thing that's really helpful are the flight timers. Now these are the best flight timers I've actually seen. If you're like me, I'm looking at the time now and it's 3 minutes past midnight, and I should get my beauty sleep, and trust me, I need a lot of time to get my beauty sleep. But I like this because it's got 3 different timers. So for example, I can come in and I can start the sim and straight away, and I know how long I've actually been sat in front of the computer, but also I can time the trip as well, and the criteria can vary from when I'm in the air or to when the power is on. Okay, and in again it's the same here as well. Okay, so yeah, the timers is particularly helpful. There is a fuel planner in here as well. You can see fuel planner, which is really again really helpful. So you get to see that there's a lot of the kind of preparation that you'd make for flying in the sim that you can do inside this unit. Checklists, which is worth mentioning, but just before I do that, as a bit of a highlight, you've got visual approaches, yes, and vectors to final, yes, what you get, and holds, you get opportunities for those in the flight plan here. Just CDI obviously, and which is what the nav source we're following. OBS just allows you to take if it allows you to treat a waymarker as and I think an OBS kind of you can take a reading bearing to and from it under the OBS mode. I'm sorry if I've not been clear there. It's getting late. I can say that again or clarify in the comment section. But just to move you on to, so there's other features here. There is an autopilot. I've never tried using this, but it does come up. It may not work. Would I really want to mess with the autopilot that's manually operable using the dials to my right, and as well as the tablet? Do I really want to muck with that? No, but we'll see what that is like. Checklist is interesting. So if I click on checklist here, it's got one checklist running, and as I say, this is really helpful. And if you've got a good couple of hours, you can get your head around this, and it's not impossible just to design a checklist. You can put some simple commands into it, and you'll find on Discord, if you look under PMS50, that there's a really good example, and there's a program available that's actually on the help page for the website, on the instruction manual, where you can convert a simple list that you type in into a JSON file, and it will come up with this. Now I like this. I've got everything in this. I've got the whole kitchen sink of it, but it starts with, have I started the time so I know that I'm on sim? Now I've just done this, so I have to tick everything whether the answer is yes or no. But here are all my add-ons here, so I can register as I go through, just in case I haven't got an add-on that I should want. Some of them need to be on before, but as you can see, I invest, shall we say, quite a lot in my add-ons. But one of them is, like, if I'm recording like I am now, is OBS on? And also this one, are the sources on? Have I checked that? And this one is classic. I happen to have two PCs, one that I use for work, and we live stream as part of my work, my everyday work. And occasionally, let's just say that I've been known to be live streaming to our provider, who pumps it out to other sources for us, Facebook and YouTube. But they haven't been relaying it because I've switched it off as far as they're concerned, but I'm still pumping out information to them, and I sit at the computer thinking, I wonder why my live stream's going slow. That's the reason. Okay, and then there's also options here for me that I'm just ticking off here, things that I like to make sure. But then once we get quite close to moving down the list, it's actually very much the standard checklist for taking off. And you can see as I work through each one, once I've reached the end of the checklist, I have to tick everything at the moment, but once I've reached the end of the checklist, I get told that yes, I've completed a page and I can move on to the next one. So these are all kinds of information here on lighting and everything like that. But it's really good because I think whilst you can sit yourself down and you can do a cold, you can do just a warm, have the aircraft waiting, have a hot start. It's really good now, and the sound's getting better on the latest kind of update, just to hear the sound of those engines roaring, which is one of the things that Flight Simulator will do well. So yeah, that's the last end of the checklist. There's my collective down. I made that mistake a few times. Test switches off, panel lights working, and there we go. As we were to move through, yeah, check me autopilot is all working, and that the lights are off, for example. You'll be familiar with this if you just started. Emergency float, search lights, flight plan, check all your wave flights. And this is the other one, to make sure I've set the comms source, the nav source. And just that's the final thing to finish with as we look at all of this, is that once you've set an MFS flight plan that it's following here, okay, that will be before landing there. Once I get onto a flight plan that's following here, so I can have the map there, and I can have the flight plan here. Once it's set that and in the FMS, okay. So we want to, it's taken that it started here. Okay, once I move up here, oh, sorry, there we go. It's moved to all screens. So if I click here, I've got FMS there. Okay, so that's nice. So it's registered that an FMS track. Then if I click down here, I can see it's FMS as well, but I can alter the nav source there. These two need to match. Don't forget, you couple them together and we'll get them to go green, and we'll see the aircraft just addressed there, and so it's heading in the right direction. So it's taken its lead from the flight director that is here, but should I wish to jump, for example, to the nav frequency, which is 110.90, you can just see that down there, 111.90. When I just come into here and I can have a look at just all the screens, and if I click on the top here, you can see ILS1 111.90. Now it's not lit up at the moment because I'm not in that corridor, but if that were 111.90, and if I were to click both of those, I would find that I'll get an adjustment. In fact, it's already giving me that, but I'm not getting any VLOC on it, so I'm not going to get any location information, because, or is it going around in a big circle searching for it, which is not good. Shall we switch it back onto the FMS, shall we? There we go, FMS there, couple the two, there we go. Okay, so I just hope that you found that helpful. Perhaps slightly longer video, but a good introduction, I feel. And so we'll just set off on our flight, shall we? I'd like a little bit more light, I think. But just as a reminder, so yeah, there we go. Oh, do we want that? Yeah, I'll have a bit of that. That looks nice. Okay, so as we set off, what do we need to do? We need to be in GTCH mode. It was following nav mode. That's the other things. When you press the nav mode on here, it will switch over. But for the moment, let's just check our IAS speed. So we'll just draw that up, as we've done before, twiddling the IAS knob here, and we'll see the increase, and that's 75 up there. The little blue marker in there, blue text IAS button down here. Of course, so that's at 105 or whatever. We can set our altitude that we want to be at. Let's just have a look, and I think if we moved onto the terrain screen, we could see what was before us for the in the immediate. Let's just have a look. If we click on terrain and we zoom back and we go out, we can see that we're red, and I think that if we remember what was the terrain map, we go onto the terrain map. Let's just have a look. Red was what? So we were to be at green. So green is 1,500 feet. If I'm right, let's just go and have a quick look at the screens there. You can see I've got a slightly different angle there. Yeah, so 1,500 feet is to be in the black, in the clear. So let's set it to 2,000 feet just to be sure. So we click on Alt A, move that up to 2,000 feet. And if I look ahead, actually, in fairness, in the distance, there's not much at all. I did think, 1,500 feet wasn't very much, but that will change as things go. And we'll set the vertical speed. So click this far button on the left to set the vertical speed, which should be increasing. Oh, no, that's the cruise height, sorry. There we go. Don't want that. We won't be on cruise height anyway. Vertical speed is this one on the right. So just increase that. So what will happen as we move forward? We'll click on nav, shall we? Now it's going to follow the nav source. Okay, and let's click on forward. Here we go. There we are. The front of the aircraft dips, and off we go as we begin to take on some speed. So I hope you found that helpful. The reminder just as well, we've got quite a lot of wind here. Remember, you can see that we've got wind and it's just facing us and buffeting us at the moment. And it's also circling quite a lot. It's quite a nasty wind. And the reason that I can see that, just remember, if I go to the screen, if I join nice and close to you here, you can see this little arrow here. Can you see? So that's telling us we've got 20 knots, 15 knots, 20 knots. I can tell by the ticks there, and we've got a bit of a circling squally wind. Okay, so it'll be a breezy trip. We are now kind of being buffeted by the winds between 100 and 120 knots. I would hope for something a bit more stable than that, but the aircraft is obviously sort of struggling at the moment. But there we go, flying out of Zurich. Well, folks, have a really good day. I pray that's helpful. Don't forget to subscribe.